We're still preambling.
Are we preambling?
We're ambling.
Have you caught any fish recently, Dean?
We've done lots of ambling.
Yeah, we didn't talk about you last time.
I'm going to ask him that when we actually kick on.
Yeah, we'll save that. Wewe'll save that for
But
the
that
main
could have gone
thing.
in the preamble bit though, because it's only a £30 common, weren't it? Don't want it to be in the main part.
Doesn't count.
Oh, wow.
It's really old.
We'll have to wear bulletproof vests when we come in here. Lewis is just let it rip, and you've had it.
Why is catching an old fish a badge of honour? That's like taking advantage of a pensioner. It's like that's like on the like a street robber going, yeah, I mugged a pensioner the other day. Oh, good.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Oh, well done.
Yeah, a poor old Carp with dementia that got mugged over by your naff rigs.
An 80 plus. He's had an 80 pluser.
Compared to Stocky, which is like, I took a really fit, healthy guy. He's just walking out the gym, massive he was, beat him up, robbed him. Well done, that's a badge of honour. Well done.
That was naive though, no, young naive.
Baz, right?
Yeah, big Eastern European
Big
guy.
Eastern
I took a big Eastern European. Had he been here long? No, he'd only just come over, but he was hard as fuck. And I
He was
fucking
probably a
nicked
bit
his wallet
tired
and
after
his
rowing
watch.
his dinghy across the channel.
I've nicked his watch. And he was like, what about you? Oh yeah, no, I see this old granny, 70-year-old, had her handbag and a pension. That's Carpy.
Wow. Dean
So-
was
so
buzzing about his capture.
I literally rocked up this morning into the office thinking, yeah, Lewis has got nothing on me. And he's tearing me a new one again.
I like the
Lynn,
old
he will make sure he's got something. You know? It doesn't matter whatever you say.
No, we'll cut this bit out, Dean. I'll say some nice stuff. So was you bit by a pike then?
Yeah. A massive pipe bit me.
That's unbelievable, that.
Yeah.
What you were swimming, it
Trying to
attacked
get your
you.
Jack Russell back.
Back in the room.
Back in the room. Guys, welcome back to the Always Carpfishing podcast. I'm your host, Dean Watson, and I'm joined once again by Ian Chilcott, Scott Day, Lewis Porter, and the man to my left, following on from the latest or the last podcast, is Mr. Lee Mozza Morris. Welcome back, guys.
Thanks for having me
Hello,
back.
sir.
So, it's been all of half an hour.
Yeah, it's been stressful.
As we said on the last one, guys, we do film 2 podcasts in a day. So this is the afternoon shoot, if you like. So, following on from the last podcast, we're going to get into the mind and times of Lee, where it all started for you, mate. And, we'll go from there, I guess.
Cool, where it all started, Jesus. Well, we won't go that far back. I don't even think my memory goes far that back, to be honest with you. But
Earlier on, I was impressed that Chill can relate things to years. It was 97, it was 2004, blah, blah, blah. We asked you earlier on, you didn't even remember what you did in the
spring.
winter.
in January.
Yesterday. How'd I get it?
Chill's had surgery on his head. And he can still remember that.
Because there's just so much going on, isn't there? I just don't remember it.
so
I think
Oh,
Lee's was
yeah.
a different kind of surgery, to be honest with you.
Oh, dear.
But, we're going to put a load of questions to you, mate.
Yep, go on.
From the guys here, and we've got some questions from the Syndicate page as well, Fox's online official community. So, from me starting it off, how did you get into angling? Where did it all actually start for you?
Wow. I mean, I won't bore you with it all, but obviously I was lucky enough that parents, they were into fishing, and then I think my earliest memories would have been in London. We're fishing Regent's Canal. That's pretty much where my fishing sort of started. See some absolutely horrific things, as you could imagine, sort of late 80s, early 90s back then. Hackney was a bit lively, should we say. Used to walk over to Bethnal Green, and there was a dog fight every evening, and I was always under the impression that people had dogs for fighting until I saw a poodle once. I said to the old man, I'm like, how's that going to win a fight? And he's like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, look at it. And he's like, no, people have them as pets as well. I was like, oh right, I have pets. So yeah, it was an upbringing that was there was a lot going on. I mean, I see some really horrible things in Regent's Canal. There was, too sure whether I should say about it as such, but one of the memories I have, I remember someone pulling a dead baby out of there. And I remember,
Jesus, it's taken a very dark
yeah, it was a bit much, yeah. But like that's like some of the memories that I had from obviously fishing there. Whether I can say that on this podcast or not, but
You just did.
It was a lot. Yeah, well, Dean can edit it out. It'll be fine. So yeah, that's where I grew up fishing, catching like some. I remember how big like the perch used to be huge in there. It was proper wicked, and then yeah, sort of my fishing then ended up like sort of more Southampton way. We moved like out of there back to sort of Southampton, like Winchester area, and then that's where I sort of grew up, started to carp fish, and then from then on in really is where my carp fishing sort of blossomed, to be honest with you.
Is that where you became an Arsenal fan?
Well, I was an Arsenal fan way before that, obviously.
You went to Southampton
went
and
to
went,
Southampton
"Oh,
and thought, I'm
shit."
not supporting them. Yeah, so no, we've been Gooners all our life. But yeah.
Gooners? Goon.
Yeah, goon. A goon and a gooner all my life, yeah, pretty much.
No.
And then from carp fishing sort of days, like we got a lake called Stoneham down our way, which dates God knows how many years that lake's been there. And I always remember that it had these like huge leaves on the islands, and used to be able to flick bread onto the leaves, and then sort of like it was like the big rhubarb leaves, you know. Rhubarb that had the huge
my nan
leaves
used
on
to
it.
grow that stuff, to be fair.
I used to flick bits of bread on there and then sort of like tease it down and wait for the carp to come along and that. And I did that for years after school, all my kit on my bike, ride up to Stoneham Lakes and just fish my life away, and just absolutely loved it from
Good
that
man.
point on, to be honest. And yeah, that's how it's always sort of started. I remember my first ever night fishing trip, me and a pal called Aaron Levers. We're in this blue tent on Stoneham, and there was rumours of this wild boar that was running around at that point. And that night, something ran into the side of the bivvy, which absolutely crapped us right up. And yeah, I don't think we went night fishing for about 5 or 6 years after that. Jeez. So yeah, I remember that vividly, and I'm sure Aaron will as well. So yeah, and then from that point on, it was like how I sort of got into the industry and stuff would have been back in the bait tech days, like with yourself and that.
Yeah, that was when, what would that be, 2012, I think, something around that sort of time. That's when I first met you actually on, what was it called? What was the lake called that Bait Tech used to run?
Suffolk Water Park.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
I remember I went down there and they said, "Oh, you'll go and meet Lee's and swim whatever." I remember walking in and you had this massive like camo Bait Tech jacket, and I was like, "Oh, where's my flipping jacket? How's he got? He's got
Because
one."
I got there like 3 days before this trip, wasn't it?
Yeah, I remember. But yeah, I remember the Bait Tech days, and it was good times. We had a really good time, and I've got a good story about you actually on that, and it refers to the Mia that Scott runs. Now, I think it was the second DVD that we made, and Peter Clapperton Jr., which was the son of Peter who owned the company.
Yeah.
He was a good filmmaker, and he said, "Right, for this second one, we want you to go and film your own stuff. Go out with your cameras, film your own fishing."
Right. Yeah.
And I was like, "Where could we go that could have some really good fish?" And I was like, so I rung Sean, and I said, "Mate, is there any chance of a guest on the Mia?" Because I knew it held some really cool fish and some real big fish. It'd be nice to put these on a DVD. So
I know where this is going.
You know this is going, do you?
I saw his face
I
drop.
can feel Scott burning me, so I know where this is going.
So I ring and I say, "Is there any chance I could bring a pal?" And he goes, hang on, you want to be a guest that guest to guest? I was like, yeah, cheeky bastard. I was like, yeah, righto, okay, no worries. So we met up when for those who know the lake, there's a swim called Duffers, and you it's a double, it's like it's
Left
a good
hand
social
Duffers,
swim.
right hand Duffers.
Yeah, your bivvies are separated by a few bushes and trees. You're probably fishing 30 foot apart, aren't you? Anyway, so Scott turns up, and we're all fishing, we're all angling. Scott walks into my swim, and he goes, "All right, Dino, yeah." He said, "So who's next door then?" I said, "This is before Lee was with Fox, by the way." And at the time, I was sort of sponsored by Fox as an angler, so we're fishing away. Anyway, Scott comes into the swim. We had a bit of a chat. So Scott's like, "Who's next door then?" He said, it's Lee." He goes, "I'll pop over and have a chat." So Scott goes round into Lee's swim, and they're chatting away. I can hear him laughing. I thought, "It's cool, they're getting on. This is good." Anyway, Scott's like, "Right, Dino, I'm off now. I'll speak to you in a bit." I was like, "Hello." And I just found it weird. He said, "I'll speak to you in a bit," bearing in mind it was like 7 p.m. at night. And I was like, right, okay. So he gets in the van, and I see Scott's van going down the drive or down the track to the gate. Within 2 minutes, Scott's ringing. I'm like, hello, mate. All right, mate. He goes, your mate in next door, Lee. I was like, oh, yeah. Seems a lovely lad, but I miss nothing. Tell him to get that 4th rod. He's got tucked in the reeds in.
I was buzzing. I thought, I got away with that. I'm coming to his swim. I'm like, got away with that one. He didn't see it, I don't think. I don't know how he didn't see it because it was probably lighting up down by the reeds.
There's many a people walked away thinking they got away with it, but
I got proper busted there, and then got Fox sponsorship off the
Literally,
barrage.
you did all right. I admired your tenacity, to be fair.
But that was a good trip. We had that was a hell of a trip.
It was a good trip, yeah. That was that the Grand Fromage trip. It was that one, wasn't it?
Yeah.
In the Black Mirror and paw print and
it was a wicked trip. I had a brace of 39s. You had the 42. I think we followed up. It was just one of those ones where the 18 were just on the feed, and we hit it right.
That was a
Unbelievable fish, that.
And then I went back, and then somehow I blagged another trip and had is it the free scale? That was the next biggest one, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Was it free scale? I had that one on the next trip. I thought, I like this. This is all right. Scott's like, you're upsetting my members. Yeah, that was cool.
No, it was
really
a very good trip. Yes, and some
that.
wicked carp caught, without a doubt. So yeah, that was the Bait Tech days. Do you know what? I remember we were sitting around the table at Bait Tech. We had a meeting because I know how much bait Lee uses, which is a bloody lot of bait. I'm with DNA now, and I was gingerly putting my order in, and it was like, I think I ordered like 40 kilo. I thought that'll do us a couple of months, 40 kilo. So I sent it over to Paul Monkman, and I was like, is this all right, mate? He goes, bloody hell, mate, Bart and Lee use that in the night. And I was like, oh, right, that's fine. So it's absolutely fine. But we were sitting around the table of Bait Tech, and Hayley was sorting out the budgets for the year ahead. And she's like, right, I just need to know what you guys, how much bait you're using for these, so we can factor it into how much we got to make and that. So it was coming around the room. I remember you being last. And, you know, in your head, you're like, oh, I don't want to be cheeky. How much can if I use 15 kilo a month, that's not bad. So in my head, I was like, right, say 250, say 250 kilo a year. And the lads were like 150 kilo, 200 kilo, 300. Come to me. I said, oh, but I use about 250 kilo. Gets round to Lee, and he's like, a ton, need 1,000 kilo. With the straightest face possible. Yeah. Hayley's like, what? He goes, I'm being serious, I need a ton. And I was like, it is what it is, mate, I suppose.
Yeah,
but you do use a lot of bait, especially when you're fishing rainbow, I suppose.
Yeah.
I got 4 rods out.
Well, I'm allowed 4 rods on there. But yeah, I mean, it's nice boilie fishing with loads of boilies, isn't it? It's the best fishing in the world.
It is the best.
There's nothing better than that sound of just off the back of the boat getting in there.
And you get them eating lots of boilies, and that's when you're going to hook them.
Yeah.
We've had that
Exactly that.
conversation before.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I like an engine dump as well. That's a good one.
engine
5
dump.
kilos down. In the edge. Oh, look at them boilies
Spreading it everywhere.
Oh, there's no better buzz. Oh, I love boilie fishing. Yeah, so yeah, I like to use a lot of boilies.
Yeah, no, it was good, like I say. So moving on from the Bait Tech days, and I remember you getting you were getting serious into your fishing then. And I remember you saying, we were at a meeting actually, and I haven't spoken to him for a few years, but Rob Nunn, great guy, love Rob, he's a real top bloke. I remember we were sitting down we had a few beers at Suffolk Water Park, we had a little campfire going, we were there with the bosses and that, and I remember Nunny saying or something, you said, I'll make a career out of fishing. And Nunny said, those days are finished, mate. You ain't, no one gets paid to go fishing anymore. I remember you go, I will fucking show you, I will make a career out of fishing. And that would have been probably 2013, something like
Must
that, I'd have
been.
thought.
Yeah,
What, do we pay him?
Yeah, I know someone actually. Shh! Don't tell anyone. But yeah, no, good times, mate. There were good times and that. And then that was when I paid, because at the time I was actually fishing Pingewood for the brute. Would have been back.
Yeah.
Would have been
Remember
back
that
then.
fish, yeah.
And then they were like, "Oh, we've got to make this DVD section and this, that, and the other," which, like you said, what we filmed for up at Foxmere. And I thought, well, my own fishing is fishing Pingewood. There weren't a lot of fishing there back then. And I thought it's not really the place to do something like that. So I heard a rumour that you could go down New Forest Water Park with $2,000 cash in your hand, walk into the bar and go, give me a ticket. So I tried it and it worked. And I was like, oh, sweet, I got myself a ticket.
It's only $1,000.
Yeah, I think it was actually only a gram, but someone said if you double it, then 9 times out of 10 you bite your hand off. So that's pretty much what happened there.
So you got that scar on your arm?
And then, yeah.
That was getting the money.
And then,
Sharp
New
kill,
Forest Water
sharp.
Park, another story, That was
Yeah.
absolutely amazing over there. Had some really good times on there. The old
Yeah.
hero pond, as we called it.
What about the? Is it the Nutsey Common that you caught? Was it the
Nutsey Mirror.
Nutsey
Sorry.
Yeah,
Mirror.
Nutsey Mirror. That when would that have been? That'd have been before that, I think, the Nutsey Mirror.
That's a pretty cool one. Maybe just irrelevant for how you caught that, because it was quite a cool story on how you caught that mirror by
Yeah,
watching it and its habits.
Yeah, that I almost knew exactly where I was going to catch that fish from when I started fishing on there, because you had this out of bounds bit. No, I didn't catch it from the out of bounds. Well, you jump after. Yeah. And it pretty much lived in there. But the minute it come out of the out of bounds, everyone tried to fish for it in front of it, and it just didn't want to know there. And it would swim right the way round to the furthest point of the lake and sit under this bush in Kingfisher Corner. I thought that's where, but I wanted to catch all. There was loads of old fully scaled mirrors in there, loads of real special carp. So I wanted to catch all them first, and then I went to pretty much. It was just textbook, really. Sort of started feeding that fish underneath this bush, and it always fed in a really weird way. It wouldn't get caught a lot off of the bottom, that fish. I think even Terry Earn spent God knows how many years there trying to.
Yeah, he
catch
did a
that
lot.
fish. He did a lot
I
of
met up
time
with
there,
Terry a
didn't
couple
he?
of times down there, and he was.
And even he had to catch
Yeah.
on a zig cheating.
Yeah.
So like, so I was like, I've got to catch this fish off the bottom. Got to catch this fish off the bottom. And then it would always, like, when you watched it, it was almost like it would eat food sort of midair.
Yeah.
So it would like come in like a bulldozer, like kick everything up, and then you could sort of just watch through all the gloom sort of thing. This fish like frantically eating, and I thought, wow, like, how am I going to catch that? So I used this real long 360 rig, like mega long amnesia, a bit of black amnesia, if I ever remember the amnesia back in the day. And a little bit of cork on top of it, and that was it. That's what I used for a hook bait. And it was actually the first start, so I set all this up, and it was the first time I'd taken the missus fishing as well. Like, come down, like, prime this area. Like, I'd been feeding it for about 5 or 6 days beforehand. Took a couple of days off work, and said, yeah, come down. And yeah, next morning, like one of them perfect misty mornings, you sat there with the rods out and that, and next minute, I sort of like a bit of a sixth sense. I like looked left where the spot was because it was only in the edge, and I see this huge swell, and then look back and the rod's arced round, and then next minute, just all hell's broke loose, and it was like all like in front of the swim with these big black oily swells everywhere. Mist. I was just absolute textbook. I loved it. Absolutely like, great buzz, and landed out. I think that's the first carp the missus had ever seen as well. 51 pounds, and she's like, oh, they all know. I was like, no, that's a tiny one. That is.
She was like, what a hero.
Yeah, exactly. Well, 20 years later.
She's thinking, wow.
What a
fish
man.
that was.
What a man. So it was cool that. Yeah, that was a long time ago. I don't know exactly how long ago that was. when did Terry catch? When did Tell catch it?
I'm just trying to think.
I'm sure it
when
was a
I
year
saw him.
after Tell caught it. I believe I had it.
You sheep him up.
2000 and
Didn't sheep him up. No.
2001, 2.
Right. Yeah,
I
long
think,
time.
yeah.
Long time ago. I think at that time, I think who's the guy that does all the records for all the big fish? Chris Ball. I think at that time he had put a statement out that was the 12th biggest fish in the country at that point. When they caught that one, I thought, wow, special, really special.
They were special back then, weren't they?
Yeah, they were.
Wouldn't
definitely.
quite made top of the pops then, would it, really?
Oh, I don't know. Might have done.
Top 10, wasn't it? Top of the pops.
Oh, got you. Sorry, I'm on another planet, Scott. Sorry.
What, today?
Always.
So how did the Fox gig come about? How did that phone call happen that you got involved with Fox in? How did that story start?
So, with I believe that come about through the Total Carp mag features that we're doing. You probably know more about that than myself. I think that's
Mark Coulson was saying really nice things. I'd watched the Bait Tech films and enjoyed them. And Mark Coulson had said, like, this guy's got a good future. He's got a good, he's very proactive and whatever. Didn't really mention anything about angling ability, just that he was a nice guy.
Give a little, take a lot.
And keen. He said he kept going on about rainbow and how he caught.
I never fished rainbow at that point.
Caught a fish from Nutsey once. Foul hooked it on a 360 rig on a zig. And he just, and I think, I can't really remember because it was a long time ago, but I think we might have double checked with Dean about him, whether he was all right, because Sean knew Dean through the shop and everything. And then, I can't really remember how it all started, but it would have been as on a lower level for sure, and then worked your way up over the years. I think. Was Bart already part of the Fox team then? Because obviously you used to live with Bart for a period, didn't you?
Yeah, a couple
you
of
was
years.
at college and that.
Yeah.
I actually found out Rob Hughes was on Mr. Agdo last week, and he said that you were part of the crew that dug his lake.
Yeah, it was a complete field. Yeah, so me and Bart, we were at Sparsholt College. That was when Simon Scott was our lecturer, and he was fishing Raysbury 1 at that time, and that was like just one of the most amazing times of my life. Dave Ball as well was fishing the Carp Lake. He was one of the students there as well, and some mega stories pinging about. And we boarded there as well, and Bart's flat was like next door to mine. And then once we'd finished that college course, Bart was like, "Oh, my old man's digging a lake. Do you fancy coming and living with us and digging a lake for the next couple of years?" Again, the Bristol life totally different from from the life that I'm used to, but amazing all the same. They're absolutely mega. And we got there, and Adrian's like, "That tree's got to stay because some witch used to hang herself off of it, and there's a digger, and there's the other digger. Help yourselves!" And it was the most craziest time. Honestly, the Bartletts is a TV program in the making, because them lot are just lunatics. It's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Great people, and great memories that last a lifetime, definitely.
But so I think Fox, has it been? It must be 10 years.
I think it's over 10
more.
years,
Must
isn't
be,
it?
must be at least.
And now it's went from. Well, I was filming all the Rage products, Matrix products, and the Rage stuff now I don't do, but still do a little bit for the Matrix guys. Obviously, all the products that we
behind the
punt
camera,
out,
that is. We don't have you as a
and then
predator
fishing.
angler or
Oh no. And then now it's it's full on every day. Something's going on.
100 mile an hour, isn't it, mate?
Yeah, mate.
One thing I will say about Lee, actually, I'm going to say something nice for a change. Lee is an extreme, and I should have said this when we did Chili's special as well, because Chili's been with Fox an eternity and has shown incredible loyalty for a very long time to Fox and to Mainline from his bait sponsors. But I can remember with Lee, he was sponsored by the Fox and getting paid a modest monthly amount for what he was doing for us, and he got offered a full-time job from another company, which would have meant he would have had to leave Fox, and he turned down a full-time job because of, I'm sure there's other reasons, not just that one reason, but he's I remember talking to him saying, I don't want to leave Fox. Like, but you've got children and a missus, you need to think about money, and I can't imagine a life without being a Fox angler. I want to stay with Fox, and I just thought, loyal but absolutely fucking stupid.
Thanks, good man. I think that's a nice touch.
That loyalty's been rewarded over the years.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's information that I think should be in the public domain. You know, loyalty is just the best thing in life.
It's a rare thing in this day and age, I think. And it should be noted on public record, Mozza. Well done for being loyal.
Cheers. Thank you, mate.
Fair play, mate.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That therapy's going well, isn't it, mate? Saying nice things about people.
Tablets, must be.
One of the side effects, mate.
I'll say it on the box. Yeah.
That's a totally different side to Lewis.
You may not feel yourself for the first few days.
We're wearing the stag do another time.
Yeah, every week.
Love it. Because, mate, we got out. I remember we did our first film with Fox together, Myths and Legends.
Yes.
Who's the myth and who's the legend?
We'll let you decide.
Yeah, I don't know. But we got up to Shropshire, didn't we? And we shot our first sort of film with Harry.
Yeah.
Who was behind the camera then. We fished a great water steeped in history, which I fished this week actually, and had one this week from
well
there.
done,
Nice little segue here, Dean.
Yeah,
Come on, then let's talk about the fish. Let's talk about the fish you caught this week. Come on, Dean.
A little sabbatical out of the Mozza.
Go on, Moz.
Yeah.
Tell us about your fish.
Will you let Dean tell his story about his
Yeah,
fish?
mate.
Yeah.
No, it's
Go
not
on.
a story.
Fire away.
It was just to be fair, because I've been a member a long time of that lake, and the fish I caught this week would have been hatched in around 1968, 69,
Wow.
stocked in the lake in the early 70s. And I had it this week at £31. It's just a mythical fish. When you're picking up those carp and they're older than you, and you think, Christ, you've been swimming around in this lake for over 50 odd years now. It's immense. And I know on the next podcast we're doing, when we finish it in July, me and Chili are going to go up there and do a session as well.
Oh, wow,
so,
amazing.
yeah.
Do you remember that fish that you caught on that Myths and Legends? Do you remember that one-eyed Willie?
One-eyed Willie, yeah.
But
Christ.
the owner didn't even know, there was no record of it, and it was like the most ancient carp you've ever seen in your life. One eye, the other eye was all sunken in, old crusty. Oh, amazing!
It looked like a zombie carp,
It
didn't
did look like a zombie
like
carp.
100 years old.
Yeah,
Sounds like I
amazing.
had a weekend at Butlin Skeg Vegas, didn't it?
Skeg Vegas. Love that. Yeah, no, wicked. Yeah, and what an opportunity that was as well to go and film there, and special place, really special.
It is good. I want to put this to you as well, mate. A story I'd love you to talk about is I've seen people go fishing in their cars, they put their back seats down. Most anglers, carp anglers, like to have a van. I've seen people also do it on a motorbike, but I've never seen an angler go in a hearse. Do you want to elaborate on the story?
A hearse.
No, me and one of my mates, back in our Ringwood days as such, we were fishing, is it the North? Oh, God, I'm trying to think what it was called. We spent, God knows, we did all our 6 weeks holidays there when we were kids, and I forget what it was called now, just in the heart of all them Ringwood waters anyway. And you could fish out your motors, and my pal had just got his driving licence, and his granddad worked for a coffin business, so they deliver by, and he's like, we'll go in the hearse. And I'm like, what, go fishing? He's like, yeah, granddad would be fine. Didn't even ask his granddad on that. So we've just bowled down to this lake. It's me and him sat there with rods out in this hearse, and the bailiff's cut, and he's knocked up. He's like, what is going on here? We're like, right, mate. Like, just, crazy.
Nice,
just, mental.
You could be on something there. It's probably the perfect fishing bus.
Yeah, mate, to be fair, we got a lot of kit in the back.
You can put your bed chair in it once you've got your rods out.
Be a bit of a shop window, isn't it, for the old trotters who are walking past it at night, and big window to
good
put
old
through.
Hurst. Yeah, brilliant.
That is a cool story.
Yeah, no, it's very cool. Did a few trips in that Hurst. Yeah, it was good. Really good.
I've heard some great stories from you. What was that one, mate, where you were fishing the lake? I forget where you were now, and they were finding someone reeled in an arm of a bloke with a West Ham tattoo or something.
Oh
like
no, that was the chase. That was recent. That wasn't that long ago. That was the chase in Dagenham. Wow, what a place. First night there. There's how would you describe it? I'm trying not to insult anyone, but there's a lot going on in Dagenham. I don't know if anyone's ever been there or not, but Dagenham's, there's a lot of sirens going on, should we say. And there's a campsite that's next to it as well. And first night there, I've parked my van up on the main road, and at about 1 o'clock in the morning, I can hear an angle grinder going, and I'm looking down by the road bit, and I can see sparks coming up by the side of the van. I'm like, oh, wow, really? So I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to do it, because obviously there's a man up there with an angle grinder at 1 o'clock in the morning. So I walked up, and I can still hear this angle grinder going. And I've got to the end of the road, and I've looked down, and there's 2 geezers that have nicked an ATM, and it's lying next to the van, and they're angle grinding this ATM, and I'm like, what is going on here? So I've come back to the swim and that, and then about half an hour later it stopped, and then you heard where this ATM's ended up into the pond. I'm like, Christ, this is the perfect place for me, obviously. Next morning, this lad's walked into my swim, and he's like, oh, like, Mozza, I've seen the van up and the thingy and all that. I was the lad that found that leg. And I'm like, leg? And he's like, yeah, mate, yeah, I found that leg with a West Ham tattoo. If you ask Nicky about it, he's got a photo on it. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And he's like, yeah, look. So he gets up on Google that these 4 lads had killed someone, chopped him up, put him into bin bags, got on the bus, right? Got on the bus. I'm in the bus stop swim. They've got off the bus and distributed him out into the pond. And I'm like, wow, like, this is a lot. With that, the head, like Jacko, who runs the place, who looks after it, and he does like look after it really, really well as well. I'm like, someone's angle grinding a thingy up here. I've just had some lad come in, and he went, oh, yeah, the other week I had some bird that was on one. They got these big windmill aerators. I'm going, get off me, windmill. I didn't realise she'd hung herself on it. And I'm like, what is going on here? This is my first night on there. This is my first night on this. And I'm like, this is a bit.
Hang on a minute. There's the story of the canal. There's a hearse.
There's a bit of a theme going on here.
Women hanging out of trees.
So yeah, I
thought
maybe this is a bit too much, but then I ended up catching this 30-pounder, and I thought I've got to carry on fishing it because the fish are unbelievable in the absolute worldies. And I spent the last 3 winters on there, so you could imagine what other stories I've got to tell that I probably can't tell, but had like some of the best fishing. Like, well, I say best fishing. There was a lot that was obviously going on every day. We've had like pit bulls running around in the swim and what have you. But in all fairness, as bad as it obviously all sounds, Jacko and the boys that run the place and look at, they walk around it late at night every night, and they walk around it mega early in the morning. They make sure all their anglers are all right and not dead, I guess. so yeah, it's but like I say, the fish that are in now, so there's a fish in there called moonscale, which they reckon is like one of the last leanies in the area to still be swimming about, and it's a phenomenal looking carp. And then there's 2 big commons in there, one called Joanna and the long common, I think it is. Now, last Christmas, I lost my granddad, who I'm mega close to, and the kids obviously get a bit of time off at school, and I just lost my granddad, and I'd promised Theo that I would take him fishing, and with my granddad passing and that, like, Theo's like, Dad, you promised, and I'm like, look, mate, like it's all a bit sore still from my granddad passing at the moment. And then I thought, you know what, like, obviously my granddad would want me to go, so I took Theo to the chase. And when we arrived there, I don't know, just the most craziest fishing in the world. So I've been after this moonscale, like I say, for the past 3 winters, and I fished it hard. Pretty much every week I was up there making the trip up to Dagenham. It was a 3.5 hour journey from my house. Every week I'd go up there to fish up there, and I still hadn't caught this moonscale. And that first night, me and Theo went back there after my granddad passing. I caught moonscale. And then I caught that at like 3-4 o'clock in the morning, and then at about 5 that same morning, I caught Joanna, the next big one. So I'd caught the 2 big ones in the lake, and just absolutely unbelievable. And then like, I'm done at that point. You know, I've caught the 2 that I wanted to catch, and Theo's like, Dad, please, can we stay another night? Can we stay another night? I said, yeah, we'll stay another night, and we had our chicken shop and what have you. And I'd gone up to the tackle shop to go and get some more maggots, and the boys in attack, they're like, "Oh, well done, you've caught moonscale and Joanna. You've still got that long common to catch yet." And I was like, "Yeah, well, to be honest, you know, it's like you could spend a lifetime there trying to catch that one fish." And got back that evening. Theo's put the rods out himself. Lo and behold, he's had a bite, caught the long common at 41 pounds. Did it all himself.
Wow.
All himself. So we had all 3 big uns after my granddad passing, being, really special. And I absolutely loved the play. Yeah, it was proper cool. Yeah, really, really cool. So, yeah, amazing. Absolutely amazing. So, yeah, and I have got photos of the leg if anyone wants to have a little look. Mad place, but very special.
So some kids get to go centre parks in their school holidays. You took them to a park in Dagenham where there's murders and robberies.
He caught £41. I was like, he's all right. Oh, bless him. Yeah, very cool.
Love it. Mega. Guys, I'd like to put your questions to Mozza now. If you've got your sort of, what would you like to ask Mr. Morris?
I'm not going to let Scotty go first again. I'll ask him, because my first question is not really about carp fishing.
Cool.
Good.
No, I think we should leave it out.
Yeah.
I have some facial hair, Lee. Yeah, Mozza. And I find it a little bit difficult to deal with. You know, at times, trimming it and making it look nice and all that. I love you and everything, but I look at photographs of you and think how long and how tedious is the task of doing what you do around your face. I'm not taking the pee out of it. People do whatever they got to do.
Do you know what? I only do it because I think it just winds people up. And like you see it on YouTube, that chin strap wanker, this, that, and that's why I just keep doing it.
How do people say that?
It's worth the effort because of how much it. 100%.
I've never.
Do you know what? I got rid of it a few months back. I got rid of it. People are kicking off at me even more. You can't do that. That's your signature.
Taking away your trademark.
It's like Fairbrass without his glasses. What are you doing? I'm like, you're talking about proper kicking off about it, and I'm like, all right, I'll bring it back. Chill out.
I never thought we'd get such a dramatic reply to it all. To be honest,
just do it because it winds people up. I think.
Really?
We got a mannequin we used to use at the shows that somebody drew it on.
Yeah, I remember
someone
seeing
went
it.
and started talking to it? Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Someone thought this mannequin was being all right, Mark.
Yeah, I'll remember it. The thing I would say, again, getting back to carp fishing, you have come from a generation that you've seen. I mean, I think with the advent of Facebook and the way computers have taken over the world, carp fishing changed dramatically around that time. And hearing you talking about the Nutsey fish, I mean, I visited, I never fished it, but I visited the pond a few times. I knew how tricky it was with the pressure the fish was under and the way the pond was, which to me are the stories that I want to read. So those old books, Malin's books, and they were talking about, a lot of the book in them books were about the same fish because there were so few big fish around. And it sort of made me more determined to ask or to pose this sort of question, the way that you were talking about that Nutsey fish. And it so obviously meant so much to you. And now you live in an environment where it's not very, I mean, carp have become the easiest fish to catch, let's be honest about that, coarse fish. But you've taken it all on board. Do you know what I mean? I see you doing your filming, and you've done this and you've done that on a water that I'm probably never going to fish it in my life. But then I see you recount stories like that. Where are you in it all? Do you see what I'm saying? I don't know if you got one foot in one generation and one foot in the other.
Yeah, pretty much. But I always sort of wonder with that, if it wasn't for social media, would I be where I am today as such, and within this company and what have you, if social media wasn't about. So it's a bit of a difficult one, that, like, so in a way I owe social media. I feel like I owe it a lot because you can tell the world of what you're up to, what you're catching, what you're doing, sort of thing. And then, like you say, you go back to that generation where sort of YouTube and Facebook and Insta wasn't really about and stuff like that.
That's when I was asked to write in 1996. That's when I first found out I could write, and I love writing. I'm just so sad that there's no place for it anymore. And I read everything about carpfishing. I dive into a book
that's when
quite
books were
literally.
special, wasn't it? Before social media, that was all about.
But
books.
everything seemed special then, and now it just seems a conveyor belt of big fish to me. And I'm finding it difficult to find places that I want. I've got 2 tickets, and I will announce it, but publicly, I've got these tickets I wanted for so long, and it takes me back to those routes. But it's hard for me to imagine you. The way you talk about the Nutsey fish, sorry to keep referring to it, and you've talked about other fish in that time as well, how you deal with the both of them, because you've obviously got an urge to catch an individual fish at times.
Yeah. To be honest, like the chase story sort of, I think that's what sort of kept me there, because that felt like, that it had that there was a lot going on, but like if you sort of didn't surround yourself,
that environment lends itself to the story, though, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
Somebody doing cutting into a catch machine behind your plot. It makes the story more interesting, and that's why I miss the books. I love turning a page of history is much better than experiencing it on a computer screen, to me. And
I think it is for a lot of people. To be honest, I think it still is that way for a lot of people.
I wish it was. I'd write another book, but I don't think it'll sell.
That's a bit like we were talking about earlier on. I've read quite a few fishing books, and I've got 2 books at home that I've not even opened yet. And I'm like, why haven't I read them? And like
your life is probably very full. That's the problem, isn't it?
Yeah. But then there is times where I could take a book fishing with me. But again, like when you fish, everything feels like it's coming at you.
Do you ever sit there thinking? I mean, I used to write a diary. I wrote a diary for 15, 16 years in various mags, all of them, I think. And it was all about, I think, 1 month in all those years that I didn't actually catch a carp in, but you were always trying to put something together. And for you, with the filming as well to do, I mean, it must be quite a load to carry around.
It is, but it's a load that I've pretty much got used to, and it's what pays my bills, though, Joe. So, like, one of the good things that I love about Fox and DNA is you never really sort of put under pressure to go out there and catch. Okay, like with the recent underwater shoot, you put yourself under pressure, because I know if, like, say that failed, that underwater shoot, the boys would have been like, look, you came, they know that I'd have put 100% into it, you tried, you just go again. But you put yourself under that pressure, don't you, when you're when you're in this industry as such. And with me, with my filming, my diaries and stuff that I do, it's always my own pressure that I put myself under. So hence why, like, half the time I can't remember anything, and I'm lucky that I film it, because that's where the memories
it's lovely to hear it, but I think it's so much better. I mean, I was smiling like a Cheshire cat when you're talking about that fish, feeding it under the tree, getting things right, and getting a bait that wafts up off the bottom and stuff like that. And it's not something that seems to be vogue in this day and age, because you're not allowed to go stalking on most lakes. You have to fish from a swim that looks like your front room anyway, and the escape from reality seems to be getting less and less nowadays. But it was so good to hear you talking about especially a couple of special fish you caught. I think that is, to me, it's what carp fishing should be,
without doubt.
And it, to some extent still is, but you have difficulty finding the waters these days. You do.
They are still there, though, aren't they? They are still there. There is a few still.
I'll never find another Raspberry, though. 15 carp and 125 acres.
Well, I mean, no, maybe not that, but there's somewhere very close to Raspberry. Very similar name.
I know where you are.
And mate, me and Dave, we had some special fish in there. There is some really, really special fish in there, and
I'll give it a look. I've got me 2 tickets for life at the moment, so I'm going to stick with them for a little bit. I ain't got much of that left, I don't think, at 65. Jeez, I never thought I'd get there, but no, thanks for that, Lee. It was real good, interesting.
You want to go next, guys? Scott or Lou? Come on. Question.
Are you familiar with the game Snog, Marry,
I'm not.
I jest, Lee, I jest. I must admit, I slacked on the homework and didn't even think about any questions to ask for Lee because I had more important things to do than think about Lee.
Cheers, Lee.
Sorry. So yeah, I'm going to try and just think of one off the cuff a bit, really, I suppose. But I suppose my question would be, obviously, you make your living now from. I think your two main sort of revenue streams are the work that you do in front of the cameras for Fox and DNA, and then the work that you do behind the cameras as well, creating content of other people fishing. So if you wasn't earning a living from the fishing industry, where do you think Lee Morris would be working now? What would he be doing?
Play the
Probably-
banjo or the ukulele.
Yeah, I was all right with the banjo.
The
wasn't I?
ukulele. I
The
would guess.
ukulele. Or it could be a bagpipe player, I guess.
Get them lungs going.
Do you know what? I think I'd probably go back to fitting windows, as boring as that sounds. But, you know, I did enjoy that. It took up too much of my life, to be honest with you. I feel very privileged to be in the position that I'm in today, that I've never really had to sort of think about any other sort of job role. So yeah, as boring as that sounds, I think.
How about your
probably
DJing
go back
and
to
all that?
the-
Would that be
No,
not a
mate.
thing?
No, I wouldn't. Like, I always wanted that, like, from a young age. But that would have killed me.
Yeah.
I know it would have. You know, it was. I'd take my hat off to them boys that are still in the industry from back in the day and are still alive. To be honest with you, because that industry, it's a lot.
It
you know.
seems to have that
But
sort
I
of
loved
label
it.
to
You
it,
know,
doesn't it?
back
Yeah,
then
yeah,
I
yes.
did love it, and I did earn some money out of doing that as well. I was a resident MC at the Opera House, which is in Bournemouth, and feel privileged to. MC for people like Ray Keefe, Simon Baselines, but you won't know any of these.
I don't know them, but I understand that I've met people who've sort of done the same sort of thing that you were doing. I mean, to me, it's like, blows
Yeah, of
my
course.
mind. you know,
Yeah,
it's living your life at 1,000 miles an hour.
But
isn't
yeah,
it?
I loved it. I wouldn't have changed that them times forever. But
You learn a lot with lots of people around you.
I realised very quickly, I'm like, I don't want to end up like them boys, you know. So
Yeah, good
so
man,
you've got
good man.
that one. So
What's the
I rate
biggest
it.
crowd you play to, though, mate? What would be the biggest?
there probably would have been the Opera House. I can't remember
Sydney.
who. So someone didn't turn up for main arena, and I got on the main arena in there, and I think. How many thousands of people is that? I'm not sure off the top of my
Just
head.
make
but
a number up that sounds impressive.
1 billion people. No, it was a lot of people. It was a lot of people. Yeah, which was very, very cool. And then I say recently, a couple of years ago, MC Shabbers like reached out and said, "Oh, I've had the MC and that," because he's into his fishing as well. And I got to get on stage with Shab. Like Shabs has been like my idol MC, like from when drum and bass started for me. And I got to MC on stage with Shabs a couple of years ago, which was just phenomenal.
Was that like when
So-
you filmed with Dean?
and then the other day,
exactly.
Facebook's favourite troll, certainly my favourite troll, Ben Battenberg,
Right.
who is always good for some comedy. He shared the old
Battenberg.
fire in the frontier
Right,
video
yeah,
that you
yeah.
did the other day, and I saw somebody commented. When you get Shabba from Wish. Yeah, so there you go.
Yeah,
So
Shabba
Yeah.
from Wish. It's like a different language, like ancient Egyptian. You have to give me a little.
Yeah, it's all that. So yeah, it'll be over your.
But I think
chill,
Ben
don't
was
worry.
hoping you might DJ and MC at his birthday. I think that's what he was angling
Oh, was
for.
he?
I think that's why he shared it.
I
He was
might
hoping
get
you
to
might
reach
reach
out.
out to him. So yeah, maybe you'll do his. I don't know how
Maybe.
old he is. Probably must be
Depends
coming
how
up to.
much he's paying.
Coming up, he's rich apparently. So
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Oh, sweet.
I was definitely doing it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm there.
Yeah,
Ben's 50.
I'll be your manager, Lee. I'll get some. 15%. I think.
Cool. Right.
Mr. Day, what would you like to put to Mr. Morris?
I was kind of like Lou. I'd not done much homework.
You're just not
And-
important, Lee.
And
No,
no.
It's fine.
And to be fair, it kept me awake a bit last night for a while. And then I fell asleep. And I still woke up this morning with no idea. However, you said something earlier on which then made me think of the question. So my question being is, have you ever fished somewhere that you shouldn't have done?
I wish he'd never fished at Rainbow.
Why? It's got you some decent viewing
Consumed
figures.
my life. You talking about that?
Well, it's a special place, isn't it?
Scales.
Oh dear.
Can you share a story or stories of places that you shouldn't have done?
I can, yeah. So, funny enough, after catching the Nutsey Mirror, I thought I need to go and catch myself a big common now. Where's the biggest common that lives near me? Reading, Burfield. Right, that's a bit of me, definitely. 60 quid I paid for that ticket back then. And they give you the gate code so that you can go and have a scout about 2 days before your ticket arrives. It says on the letter, like, this is the gate code. Doesn't mean you can go fishing there, but you can have, because it takes you 2 days to bloody walk round it. So yeah, I've gone down Sales Farm Lane. Gets to the end there, and you've got like matey's house right at the end of Searles Farm Lane, and to the right there's a Reading and District Angling Club gate, and to the left is like the compound area. And there was a guy fishing in the compound area. I said to him, I was like, "Oh, how do you get round the rest of Burfield?" And he's like, "Well, put your Burfield code in that Reading District gate, and that lets you in. And there's Telegraph Bay just in now." I was like, "Oh, right, sweet." So can't miss it. So I was like, "All right, happy date." So I've gone through the Reading gate, and the first swim you get to on the right hand side, I thought I saw something because we driven past. So we've parked up, gone back into that swim. I've stood up on this log, and there is giants everywhere swimming around. This like early March as well. I'm like, I can't believe all these big uns are everywhere. Like it's my first proper glimpse at the lake. I'm thinking, this is unreal. Look at that one, look at that. Like, it was one of my pals with me at the time. I think, God, this ticket can't come any sooner. And with that, like in the background, there was this mega long common that I couldn't quite see. And I'm thinking, well, there's the end of his chat there. I'm thinking, that's got to be it. Yeah. I'm like, what is going on here? So I'm like chomping at the bit for this ticket to arrive. So tickets arrived, and I had Nigel Sharp's map that was in his book that you got about all Burfield and this, that and the other. So I'm looking at that and I'm thinking, right, that's that bit of Telegraph Bay. And so tickets turned up, flown down there. So I'm like, I couldn't get through that Reading gate quick enough. Gone in, parked up, gone back in that swim. They weren't there. Oh, right, okay. So I could have gone left or right, and that would have changed a lot for me if going left or right. And I went right. So I should have gone left.
I know where you're going.
So I've gone right, and I'm following Nigel's map, and like, yeah, that island's it. Yep, that one pans up with that. And I've looked to my right hand side, and there's this little stock pond bit, and I'm like, right, okay. And as I'm walking up, in like at the back of this island, I thought I could see like this tail come up, and like, I thought, is that them? Got the binos out, had a look, and it looked like that same group of fish that was in front of me. They were all like sort of huddled out by this island, quite a long chuck out there. And so gets everything set up as you do. 3 rods out there, like, I'm proper on them here. Within half an hour, left-handers busted off, £38 common. I'm on cloud 9. I'm thinking, God, this Burfield malarkey is proper easy, this. And this was when Johnny Mack was fishing it at the time as well. And I've just landed this 38-pounder. I've gone up, a couple of lads are fishing. Lads, got a decent common, come and take a photo for me. Yeah. So they've come down and they're like, cool, you've got a football common. God, well done. I'm like, yeah, half hour the rod's in, I'm the man, this, that and the other. And this was like when Facebook all sort of becoming a thing. And so I posted up on my Facebook, yeah, just caught a football common at Burfield, £38, this, that and the other, and I'm buzzing me rockers off. Next minute, rod's gone again. I've had like a 20-pounder, then it's gone again, got me snagged up. So I'm like, I don't know, I wonder if there's a boat on here and whatnot. So I've messaged Johnny Mack. This is like now late into the evening. I'm like, mate, is there a boat on here? I've got one snagged. And he's like, yeah, where are you? So I'm in Telegraph Bay, this, that. And he's like, all right, sweet, I'll be over. Never heard either air from him for the rest of the hour. I thought, that's a bit weird. Fish come off anyway. Well, I ended up catching 5 that night on my first night on there. And I am, rocking it. I'm thinking, come on to something here. This is all right, this. So bailiffs come over, and this was all when when Cemex started to, where rumours were flying about of them selling all their lakes and stuff like this, and we're talking about Burfield, me and this bailiff, for hours on end, and we have a few cups of tea. He's like, well done on catching your fish, and he leaves. Like, doesn't ask for me ticket or nothing. You know, we had a good conversation and whatnot, and he goes. And then this other guy comes round. He's on his bike, and he's like, just come up next to it, and he's showing me like all these fish on this little like handy cam thing that he's got. And I'm like, God, do you know what? It's a bit weird. I thought I knew quite a few of the fish that were in Burfield, and I ain't seen any of these, I'm thinking. And he's like, yeah, mate, yeah. So I'm done on here now. I'm fishing over on Burfield. And I'm like, yeah, but this is Burfield. And he's like, no, this ain't Burfield, mate. And I'm like, shut up. I thought, I know what's going on here. He wants me out to swim so he can get in. I thought, he's having me on here. So he's buggered off. I've gone up, like, the two lads that taken photos for me, they'd gone and have found someone else. I was like, excuse me, mate, what lake's this? And they're like, Farn and Flint, mate, why? And I'm like, oh, no reason. So I've come back. I couldn't reel these rods in quick. Oh, it gets better. So I'm reeling these rods in, thinking, I can't believe I've done this. Like, I'm thinking, is this right? I'm like, but everything pans onto them. And with that, this geezer's walking down the path, and he looks angry, and he's a big guy, and he looks mega angry, this guy does. And he's walked past me as I'm reeling the rods in. I thought, cool, I've swerved that one, thank God. And he's come back. I'm like, he knows that I've been fishing on here I'm about to get absolutely slaughtered here. And I'm like, you all right, mate? And he's like, no, I'm well pissed off. I thought, here we go. I'm like, all right. I said, what's up? He's like, the football common that lives in here got caught out of Burfield yesterday. I'm like, oh, that's terrible. I couldn't have got out there any quicker. Div.
That is classic.
Absolute div. So yeah.
Before we go on, Lee, I'm truly surprised you haven't written a book. I think I could get lost in that. I think I could.
So the problem, my writing is horrendous. I'm absolutely terrible. Dyslexic and terrible. I can just about read a book, and that's about it.
How about an audio book?
Yeah, well, like I said, I don't fit. Has anyone done an audio book in the industry?
No,
is that
I'm going to.
Definitely, man. I think that'd be a good shout.
Do you think that would be a thing for the... I know in this day now, everyone wants everything quick and fun, you know.
They do.
I hear that people listen to podcasts on like +2 and all that so they can get through them quick. And I'm like, what's going on there? Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I get an awful lot of messages about my voice. Evidently, I sound like a nice person, whether I am or not, and it's very debatable. But they like to listen to me. I get so much contact through messaging on whatever Instagramification-y thing it is, and they just say, I love the way you talk, and listen to it all day long, and I'm thinking, well, maybe that's something that we could do within the industry.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, I think it'd be a good thing.
I mean, you've got a great story there. You know, just the little bits of your life we've listened to. Yeah. You know, that's, to me, that's a real good story, and that's what life ought to be like. Fun.
Yeah, well, it's got to be fun, isn't it? You know, life's way too short, as we all know.
Should we do a real technical one then? Should we ask him something technical?
God, no, don't do that.
Of course you got the time.
Just ask him to write his name.
Put it there in Braille for you.
I think the ironic, a technical question coming from yourself. Are you going to give him the technical question?
No, because you all know what it would be, so I'm not going to say anything. I'm just hoping one of you would pick up, yeah, what about the Fandango Doodah rig that nobody knows about?
Have you got a technical question from the Syndicate, maybe? Is there any that might have been technical?
There was a couple saying, unfortunately, when are you going to get rid of that chimp trap? It was a topic again on the Syndicate. So. One was, what is your actual role at Fox? What do you do? We know they say,
what is your actual
role?
What is
I don't even know. No, so obviously fish for Fox, obviously creating content for Fox. As well as that, I film most of the products. I would say I pretty much, and I've done that for, it's got to be over 6 years now. I've been doing that for, must be. Yeah, it must be 6 years. So we do a lot of products as well. We've got a lot coming up soon as well. So, yeah, take on a lot of that role.
Doff my cap. I'd be bored out of my
And
brains
then do
after
the
second
Matrix
one.
stuff as well. So for the Matrix boys, for a long time, I've been doing their products as well. Back in the day, it was all translations, wasn't it? So it was 11 different countries. Was it 11 or 14? I think it might have been 14 at one point.
I think 11.
Was it 11?
I think 11 or 12.
So translating into all of their different languages, all of
You didn't know he was multilingual, did you?
A cunning linguist. Oh, yes, there you go.
So yeah, did all that. I don't know how that much. Like, so like one product was obviously, you know, that one product was 11 different videos in 11 different languages. So like, and 9 times out of 10, you wouldn't just have one product on one launch. It would be, you know, 50 products. So it's like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of videos that I've uploaded and punted out.
You'd think
like
that'd be a
thousands.
job on its own, wouldn't you? Let alone doing anything else.
Yeah, as well as obviously doing my diary piece and and creating content for Fox. So
Testing products to destruction.
testing products to destruction as well. Yeah, definitely. Although the one that we've got at the moment, it's a good bit of kit, that, Matt. It's going to change the game, that one is.
I know
For all people. Because
Was that the one we talked about the other day?
my kids,
Mega.
like for children, it's going to, like for disabled people, for every angler out there, I guarantee they struggle with, we've solved it. Or you guys have solved it.
No, you have.
Like, absolute game changer. And I haven't broken it yet. So it's, So I've had it a while.
That's quite amazing because you're actually using one that we've further improved. So
Right.
The more I talk about this modern day concept of working for an angling company, the more I think how bloody lucky I've been. All I had to do was go fishing and catch carp. That's all I had to do. There's nothing else to do.
Yeah,
and,
it's
it's a different world now, and
Yeah,
there's so
yeah,
many
it's
things that have got to be done, and I just totally lose track of it all. You know, you talk about all the different places, languages. I never, you know, you don't think that's going to be a hurdle, do you? But it is. It's something that's got to be worked on. Amazing. No, I doff my cap, sir.
Yeah,
I
no,
really
thank
do.
you.
Another question from the Syndicate, mate. A guy called Dave Northam would like to ask, when or if will you be going back with pictures on the challenge? Did you enjoy it? Would you go back?
Yeah, it was good. Yeah, it was absolutely brilliant. So that was actually meant to be an underwater film that never happened because of the water clarity in the end. So yeah, we was just like, we'll make a Christmas special challenge then. I thought, oh yeah, sweet. Yeah, it was hilarious. For anyone that didn't see it, it was we had forfeits throughout that, and Harry had his pants on his head for X amount of days.
Is that when pictures are trying to catch a chicken?
That's the one
That's the
where
one,
he's
innit?
trying to catch
Yeah.
a chicken, yeah, which never
Bank
happened.
stick strapped to your legs.
And bank stick strapped to her legs and arms. Yeah. What else did Harry have? Harry got absolutely hammered on that one. But yeah, that was brilliant. And yeah, I'd love to go back and do another challenge, definitely. Yeah, it was proper cool, that.
Mozza versus was fun.
Yeah, that was good.
Few of them, they were
Yeah,
good.
that was good. All good laughs, weren't they? So,
Yeah,
bit light-hearted fun in there.
did enjoy that. You and
From the
you
serious side of
versus
things.
Bartlett was brilliant. I enjoyed that. Just 'cause
I just think me and him were going out just acting like idiot. I think that's what most people do, you know,
Yeah.
when you go out fishing with your best pal, you know, you just, like, I always see it as, like, just shoot it as two idiots out there going fishing,
No, I enjoyed it, mate.
taking the piss out of one another. And I find that, you know, for a majority of people watching that, they can relate. So,
Yeah.
you know, you'll always have them
Everybody can.
serious films but, you know, I like to go out and just have fun, you know, and enjoy myself along the way. So,
Definitely. I mean, I think, you know, for me, carp fishing has been probably just as much about the people. You know, I met when I started, you know, when the Army allowed me a bit of time at the end of my service, I got that ticket for Horton. You know, with Keith and Laney, who'd become friends of mine, Chrissy Pearson, Robbie Stoddart. But I went to Horton, and the people I met there, I mean, the first bloke I bumped into and shook his hand, I'd met him the year before actually, was Sir Peter Springate. I mean, it's just unbelievable. I don't really have heroes in my life, but people that I respect so massively. And it just went on down there because there's so many people.
Yeah.
I think there were 16 different 40s in there when I caught one in 96.
Wow.
No, there weren't. There were 6, sorry, and there were only 16 known ones in the whole country. and that's why it became a focal point. But meeting the people, amazing. Harry Askell, I remember meeting Harry, a wonderful old guy, a real proper old school guy. Amazing. And I often think more about the people I've met along the way than the fish that I've caught, which is a nice thing to think of.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, no, it's special.
Definitely, and I think of some of them in a very bad way too, believe me. But we forget about those.
I want to ask you as well, from myself, mate. I know we're going on about rainbow now.
Excellent.
Yeah, as you know, we would. Sorry though, but a few people do say like he always fishes rainbow. What makes you keep going back to that lake? What is it that pulls you back?
It's easy. You can't even catch. You never caught out of there, did you?
Yeah,
when you went out? Well, only because Paisley showed you how to fish.
No,
yes.
I went there without. When I went there with Tim, we blanked.
Ah, there you go.
In February at -9, and then I went back the following year, and it was just honestly.
Honestly, what?
Ookie ducky.
Shut up. How long ago was that?
For 18, nearly 20 years ago, I think.
It's a totally different world now.
It was hook a duck.
Yeah, not anymore.
No.
It's just, to be honest, it's that you'll never get fishing anywhere else in the world like it. And the reasons why I say that is because, you know, I've spoke to Steve Briggs on there many times. He has fished everywhere. You know, he's been here, there, and everywhere. And I've always said to him, I'm like, you know, is there anything out there like? And he's like, no, mate. There's nothing out there that is like this. You know, it is. You know, as you yourself, Scott, you know, it is special out there. Even the smell of the place. You know,
I had 4 trips out there, and I thoroughly enjoyed it until the last one, which was 2 weeks. I hope people can go fishing for 2 weeks. I've got no idea.
2 weeks, I don't feel like it's long enough for me. I'm gutted. It gets to
it's
that.
too long
it
for me.
To the end of that
I think you
second
go
week
off the boil after a few days. Do you know what I mean?
I will be serious for a split second, because I was having this conversation with somebody just the other day. Rainbow is one of the probably only 2 places I think I've ever been where I did get goosebumps on arrival at the lake. There is definitely, because as a youngster growing up, I was reading always about Yateley Car Park Lake and how magical that place was, and I went there when I started working in the industry on the magazine, and it was just like being at another lake. Yeah, I didn't feel anything. It didn't feel special. Like it didn't have it was just another lake, you know, surrounded by other lakes. Remember thinking, I bet Rob Malin's pissed up that tree. That was about as sentimental.
Yeah, but you weren't going to fish it.
No.
You were there as working, weren't you?
Yeah. So
but you went to Rainbow and you were going to. I bet if you went through those gates of the Car Park Lake back then with your rods in your hand,
very much potentially would be different because I wasn't. But I expected to feel like I went there expecting there would be a feeling, and there wasn't. But when we arrived at Rainbow that first time in the February, it was like. It was goosebumps. Like there was something. There was this undescribable atmosphere around it for whatever reason. It's a stunning looking place, I guess. But yeah, so I will give you your dues. Like I can see. The only reason I didn't want to go back is because I like to relax.
Yeah,
and it's not a relaxing holiday.
Not relaxing.
I like to sleep. I'm going on holiday. Holiday for me is about recharging the batteries, and you ain't coming back from there having recharged your batteries.
No, definitely.
You are.
Hence why I say to most people, like Dean Macy pulled me aside, and he's like, "Look, I've got a 2-week trip at Rainbow. Sort of, how much does it take out of your life?" And I'm like, "It's a month, because that week leading up to it." You're going to need to get ready for it. You've got your 2 weeks when you're out there, and you need a week when you get home to get over it. And he's like, I ain't got that. I'm not going to go. So like,
and then you was like, I'll take your 2 weeks. Cheers, Dave.
I was like, cheers, done and So, but yeah, it's
the weather there as well. I mean, I've been around the world 100 times with my hair on fire at 1,000 miles an hour, going crazy, and I've seen real bad weather.
I've had a boat go over on me and on there. I've had it all.
An electrical storm for 24 hours, and this is 2006, and I had the prototype for a cut down Evolution. That's all I had. I didn't have a grain sheet or anything. The only thing I took more was bait in my little Mondeo down there. And I got a picture. I've not seen it in years. I'd love to find it. And you can see where the wind is picking up the back of the thing, and the pegs almost getting pulled out the ground, and the sides of it are flapping in the wind. And right on the island in front of me, there's a tree about 10 foot in the air with a massive load of smoke coming out of it. But I didn't know it was going to do that. What I wanted was to get a bit of lightning in the air, and all of a sudden my
because
world
you're so
nearly
close to the coast there, the weathers that you get, it's like within an instant you blink and
I used to get on really well with Pascal, and he used to tell me about it because he's involved in the old fishing down there, and there's shrimping, is it? I think he does down there, or mussels.
I think his sons are. Pascal's more a golfer. I think he loves his golf.
Is he a golfer?
Yeah.
To him about
Yeah,
that,
he loves his sons. They love all that. So
I enjoyed it until that last trip.
yeah, I love it. Absolutely.
I'll never go for 2 weeks holiday.
There's no
again.
buzz like that, like anywhere I've ever felt before. Like how frightened you are when you see that rod wrap over the way it does. Never comes out on camera quite as good as what it actually is.
Need to get you out in the marlin boat.
And then, well, yeah, you know.
One that you've told the skipper you're going to stand up and play it. When you get by, don't sit in the chair. That's for.
Yeah. I would love to do something like that.
That's for very insecure people.
Yeah, that place there's just no place like it. The minute you've got that rod in your hand and you put that first step into the boat and you go out there, you don't know what's about to blow up in your face because,
amazing,
like you say, the weather, you don't know what sort of carnage you're going to get into with whatever fish you've got on the end. Could be one of the biggest fish you've ever seen in your life. And yeah,
the thing is with the mountains
phenomenal.
over the other side as well, it changes in the blink of an eye. And I've not been in that sort of environment. Jungles and deserts don't really do that.
Yeah.
But I was just amazed, utterly amazed by it.
Yeah, incredible.
And,
roll on next month.
After the
Can't
bloody
wait.
journey, I drove down there. I missed 4 days of the trip because they did that first show at Wembley Arena. I don't know if you remember it. Carp World did.
Was it the XL?
Yeah. And I had to pick up a load of gear, take down there for Paisley, and my little Mondeo was dying on the way down. A 10-hour drive that I had pink rhinoceroses walking across my bonnet and everything. There was a cafe there with a Cadillac. A big roundabout. Was that there when you've been driving down there? A Cadillac in a big cafe, and I stopped there and fell asleep in there for about 6 hours in the chair. They just left me asleep and went on down. But it was that knackeredness, tiredness, everything.
It's a long
about
drive.
It is, but
long,
I think
drive.
the adrenaline was pumping by the
100%,
time I was pushing them
definitely.
banks and rammering them bank sticks in. It was incredible. No, good stuff.
Yeah, no, I love the place, and I've got 2 really good trips this year, so I'm looking forward to them. Peg 18. End of July.
Peg 18.
Yeah, back in 18, end of
Nice.
July
Get
for
your
2
boilies
weeks.
over.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is that, obviously.
How much bait were you taking? Typical.
I'm not saying how much bait I'm taking. I'm not going to do that. I'll send it via email.
Fair play.
But no, I'll
You're
keep
not
that one
allowed
to
to take boilers abroad.
No, chill. That's
I have
been a
no
thing
idea
for
what
a
you're
little
talking
while,
about.
that has.
Really?
It's got a bit hot just recently. It has, yeah.
Yeah.
Dear.
It's fine.
Not unless
DNA
it's
got a
been- not
distribution
unless it's
centre,
been-
so it's all right.
Yeah. You're not technically allowed to take them with you into mainland Europe
Really?
unless they've been signed off by a vet.
Wow.
Because
It's getting tougher, isn't it?
because it goes into the
Well, you can't
human
pop down a
food
vet.
I think, I'm not sure.
Surely we know a couple of
Take
vets
a little
somewhere.
dog in with you. And
But I don't know, is a vet going to put their name to that? It's
not.
like, because if that gets on top, then you're not, I'm not too sure most vets will be like, I'll just sign off that
Why don't I
X
know
amount of
anything
kilos.
about
I don't think it's as easy as that.
No,
it's not.
no.
It's not. You're better off just getting your bait over the other side.
Yeah,
or
DNA's
taking
got
the risk.
distribution centre, so it's all good. It's all good. I'll get it that way.
Last up, mate. Future plans. What is in the future for Lee Morris?
Just keep flying around like a raving lunatic, like I
Yeah.
always do, to be honest with you, mate.
Any waters that you
try and-
one day I'm going to do that. I'm going to get there one day and fish for that fish. Is that something you've
Do you
got
know
planned?
what? I would, like, the Orient keeps sort of, like, I would love to just do one of them massive trips out on the Orient, but at the same time, like, all the while the rainbow thing's going on, I think until that stops, then I'm not really sort of looking to get obsessed with another lake because, like I say, rainbow takes up already 2 months out of the year of my life as it is now anyway. Now I'm getting to take my kids to Rainbow as well, you know, so like they're chomping at the bit to go now that Lewin's had a taste of Rainbow. I took him last year, so you know, and he's like, when are we going back, when are we going back?
Push bike, they can bomb around the thing place, can't they, and everything.
He fishes on there, and he had a 55-pounder last year, like a 1 a.m. boat back, mate. It was incredible. Honestly, absolutely amazing. Cracking. His little face is just that's special, you know. So all the while that's going on, like just a bit of the same old. You know, I'm very lucky to have a very decent life within this industry and fishing wise, and so may it continue, to be honest.
Excellent. Well, mate, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on the podcast.
Cheers. No, thanks, guys.
Thank you very much. Guys, if you want to get involved in future podcasts, you have to be a member of the Syndicate, which is Fox official online community. Head over to Facebook, become a member, and future guests, you can put your questions to them. Other than that, it's just once again a massive thank you for the guys here with us today.
No problem.
Thank you for tuning in, and we will see you on the next one.
Cheers, Moz.
Bye.
Cheers, boys.
Cheers, Moz.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Lee.